everyone. I'm Maureen McQuigan, Deputy Director of Arts and Culture for Lackawanna County, and your weekly host for Lackawanna County Arts and Culture Live. We've been bringing you programming every week since April that showcases our local artists and cultural experts. And we've featured over about 25 artists every week, and it's been great. I've gotten to know a lot of new artists and got to work virtually with some people we've worked with for years. So we've decided the show was so successful that we're going to keep it going on a monthly basis. If you're an artist or history or heritage expert that has not participated before, please look for our new application. Hopefully it'll be out in a week or so. You can find it on our Lackawanna County Arts and Culture Facebook page. We also have a Twitter account at Arts Lackawanna. So we'll be at least running it through the end of the year once a month, and we'll definitely get you more details on that. So we have a nice mix tonight. We just have two artists, but we have one performing and one visual, which is a nice way to wind down this first few months of this series. So we are going to start off with Paul DeLuca, who is a singer-songwriter, also a visual artist. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well. He'll be doing some of his original music. And we're going to follow that with Sam Kuchwara, who's an artist who has worked with us for a long time at many of our outdoor festivals. So let's get started, and we're going to first talk a little bit with Paul before we hear his set. Hi, Paul. So glad we can have you on our show. I've been a big fan of your work for a long time. In fact, I just have to point out to our viewers, I have this little studio in my house, and two of your pottery pieces are behind me. So, today you're going to be showcasing your musical talent, but you're also a great visual artist as well. And pottery has been your main thing recently. Could I just ask you about that? Like, what do you like about pottery? The process of making ceramic arts?
That's a good question. I think what I like about pottery is that you take a lump of clay and it's already there. Like sometimes with sculpture or painting, you're creating it. So in this lump of clay, there's a form, and then you're bringing this form out of that lump of clay, and it turns into a visual form. And I hate to use this word, but it's a very good process of centering your feelings. So like it's very relaxing. It's very therapeutic. And then there's a lot of things you can do once you have the form, structure your painting, make the glaze, and it's functional. You can use it. You have a mug, you have a pitcher. I kind of make functional pottery. Thank you. There you go. You can see a big pot. You can see this big pot behind me. You can throw flowers or anything in there. Yeah. So yeah, I'll throw a commercial in. I just delivered a lot of mugs and pottery to Artifacts in Pittston, and they're open and things are for sale right now.
Yeah, we're encouraging artists to tell people where they can find their work. So yeah, that's a really nice.
That's a commercial message. Yes.
That's what we're here.
Then you can go to Bank Street Pottery. You can go on internet and you can find it that way. And you can visit the studio if we wear a mask and we social distance. I don't have any problem with people coming up to the studio and look at the work. But I just sold a bunch of work. I don't really sell hard. It's not like I'm trying to sell the work, but just this week I sold a lot of work, and it's kind of nice.
Yeah, well, that's great. We like to hear that because we know this can be a difficult time for artists, to try to sell their work, and especially performers. You're wearing your performer hat today.
Yes.
But let's talk about, how does your musical process, what am I trying to say? Like, does it work well with the visual, or do you find that a whole different type of experience?
I basically find visual art, writing music, writing copy. I think all sculpture, I think all the arts are related. It's all the structure, the format, the rhythm. They're all kind of like related. So I don't know how it works, but if you could compose in music, you could compose in art, you could compose in writing. That structure is found throughout the element of finding where you want to be, whether it's a song, whether it's a painting, whether it's a drawing, whether it's a pot. It's an expression, but you also have the basic elements of design. Even in advertising, art, that structure can be translated into all forms of art, I think.
Oh, and I'm glad you mentioned advertising, because that is a third hat you wear, and a lot of
That's right. That's right.
but it is
Advertising.
a lot of people don't realize that even if they don't consider themselves into the arts, art touches us everywhere. Do you agree that in your work as an advertiser, even the art, the design is so important?
Yeah, I do think that art, it's art is in us, whether it comes out or not. That's another story. And again, even though advertising is used to sell stuff, I see a lot of stuff out on the internet right now where you tell artists how to sell their art and how do you. To me, commerce and art, it's a really weird thing, and I think that you know you don't want your art is your art, and if it's good and there's a market for it, somebody likes it, that's fine. But I think an artist is going to do their art no matter what. There's a lot of people, a lot of poor artists out there, but the main point about art, and I see this on the internet all the time, like sell your paintings, it's hard to make a living being an artist, and some people make a lot of money doing it, and most people don't. Just like art, just like acting, just like writing, just like poetry. And then the visual arts, and then advertising is just a way to bring somebody in with the power of design. And the better you design, the better your advertising is. A good design will always outsell a poor design.
That's a good.
But I think for your art, that's your person. For me, anyway, I don't care if I sell any pottery. I don't care if I'm in a good spot, I guess. And I just do it for myself. And I find that if people like it, then they buy it. That's great. But I never really say, oh, how am I going to sell? And I think that's the weird thing is, since I don't have to sell, I sell more. Since I'm not trying to sell, I sell more. Because I say, you don't want to buy it? I don't care. I've already got what I needed to get out of that piece. I have pottery laying all over the place. Look at that, I just bumped my mic. But it's there, and I got what I needed out of there. And if somebody buys it, that's kind of like icing on the cake.
Oh,
and I'm not going to deflate prices, because if I deflate prices, and it's not about me. It's like for the other artists, like I'm not going to undercut somebody who's struggling to sell a painting.
Well, I think that's a good point. Sometimes, there is the business side. If you want to make your living as an artist,
right.
This craft, they should, it's when you're buying a piece of art, it's a personal experience because it's part of the artist. So yeah, and they put a lot of love and time into it. So I think you're right.
Yeah. I think the expression to express in art, right? I don't think like somebody will say, well, I want a painting to go behind my couch, or I want a painting that looks good on my wall. I get that. But I think the artist who is has something inside them, has an original idea. They want that to come out. They're going to do that. And then what other people do with that, that's up to them. But to use it as a decorative element, then you're really into the commercial side. Then maybe you're doing wallpaper, or then you're doing bubble gum for the eyes. But I think the people who really get it, I always say I know what art is. Art is whatever I like, and the rest is bullshit. I always said that. So I'm very confident in what I think is art, and I really appreciate people who have that drive to do it. And it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It's they're expressing their ideas and they're getting them out there. So for me, I don't want to put pottery out there and discount it. Not just for me, but for the other artists. They need to get a fair price.
Well,
so don't nickel and diamond artists. It's not really good. Don't say, oh, I can't believe he wanted this.
I have to say,
for that.
years ago, you were really helpful. We did an business for artists class, and I remember you saying that. So it's good to have that other perspective. Let's just jump back to your music before I jump out and we can hear you play. You're an original songwriter, and you write really great lyrics. How are you inspired? Like, how does a song come to you? And it's often about Northeastern PA. You have a lot of great songs about living here. So
yeah, I'm not a professional. I say I'm not a professional musician because I don't get paid to play a lot, although I'm getting paid for this gig. So I'm moving into the professional. But again, like my pottery, if I didn't sell any, I'd be making pottery. With my music, even if I never sold a song or played anywhere, I was going to write these songs. And sometimes they're anecdotal. I don't know how it works. I mean, it comes out of me when you're younger. Maybe you're doing it because you want attention. But I've always had these songs, and they kind of come out, and they're also a way, like and romance. We would talk about this. It's kind of like a coping mechanism, and people say, well, you write a lot of songs about women. Well, yeah, that's right. That's me. You write a lot of songs about Northeast Pennsylvania, yeah, in my hometown. You write about what you know and know what you write. And these songs are there with the music and the lyrics. They kind of come pretty quick to me, and I really don't understand how it works. But I have a situation. I might start with a line, and then again, it's always been a way as to help me get through a certain thing. I don't have a lot of "I'm so happy I could shit" songs. I only have a couple of those. Most of my songs are just observations or things that are coming out. Now, when I was younger, I wrote one way, a little bit sophomore. But I always got there's different. I don't have a genre. I do country. I do whatever I feel at the time. But it's more an expression of how I'm feeling. And again, it's a structure, like with a song. You have that structure, and it all blends in pretty quickly to me. And hopefully, when I play some of these songs, I'll talk a little bit about what inspired me to write that song.
I've always liked, because what do you mean you're not perfect? We've seen you play at an underground mic, which is a great.
That's right. Well, you don't get paid for that. So, Steve, I'm stealing from Stevie Wonder. He says, "I'm a total professional. I don't play anything for free." So that's Stevie Wonder's. And I'm like Bob Dylan, who just says, "I'm just a song and dance man." So for me, am I talking a lot with my hands? For me, I'm just a songwriter, and I was going to write a lot of songs. I write them in my living room. So whether that, I'm playing in front of the TV with the volume off, I'm playing for whatever I'm watching at that time. That's my audience. But so to open up your living room door and then have 200 more people in the room that you're playing to, it's a different experience.
Well, now you could have a global world, and I'm glad you talked about that. We do here at the county believe in paying artists for their time, and when we were outdoors, we used to have events, but now we're taking it virtual. We decided we're going to keep this program going once a month. So if you're watching out there and you're an artist who hasn't participated, please talk to our office. We're going to get the application out. But yeah, there's definitely a value to artists. They make our communities better. So we love that we can showcase here. I'm going to step out because we're really here to see you. Can't wait to hear your set. And you've been playing Facebook Live too, so people can catch you on there. You come out and do some music as well if they want to see your songs again.
Yeah, it's a. I'm looking at myself. I could close my mouth, but it's a because I'm listening. It's a process, and I'm constantly trying to improve it. I'm constantly trying to learn it. I already have the song. So when you're writing a song, you just have your guitar and your voice. Then when you start going out on the internet, you're starting to hear things differently. Or when you play at the underground microphone, you're starting to hear things. So you want to present them to the world as best you can. So it's a learning process. And I hope people enjoy it. I hope you stay here. It's going to be 30 minutes. I'm going to try to play 30 minutes without stopping. There's going to be mistakes.
It's okay. This is organic. That's what's nice about it.
That's right.
It's a peek of the artist process. So I'm looking forward to it. So I'm going to step out and looking forward to hear you play, as I said. Okay, bye.
All right. Welcome to my home. I want to thank the county. I want to thank Maureen McQuigan for inviting me to play. I'm going to be playing for 30 minutes. It's going to be continuous. So all the mistakes and all the pauses will all be in there. You're going to be hearing ambient noises from the traffic, from my neighbor's lawnmower. I'm sure he'll turn it on as soon as I start. From the log splitter down the road. It all adds to the mix. I'm going to start out with the song I did not write. I'm going to do mostly my songs, but a few songs that are covers. This is a song called Know You Rider. First time I heard it was by Hot Tuna. I really liked the song, tried to figure it out, how to play it. And then the Grateful Dead did it, of course, and a lot of people. It was written in it was first recorded in 1927 by Blind Lemon Jefferson. It was written by a woman who was in jail. She was only 18 years old. She was in jail for murder, and she wrote the song, and then Blind Lemon Jefferson recorded it.
And this is my version. Now, the hardest part about this harmonica thing is getting it so you can play it. It's not actually playing it, it's positioning it. I said, I know you're right, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. I said, I know you're right, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. You're gonna miss your daddy from rolling on your lawn. I said, the sun's gonna shine on my back door someday. I said the sun's gonna shine on my back door someday. Well, the sun's gonna come and chase these blues away. Loving you, baby, is easier than rolling off a log. I said, loving you, baby, is easier than rolling off that log. Well, I'll be your man, but I sure won't be no dog. Yeah, I'll be your man, but I sure won't be no dog. Know Your Rider. Okay, that's a good way to start it out. Get it upbeat. This next song, I'm going to get a tissue because I'm just going to get one. I'm going to go off camera. Blow my nose because sinus. Sorry about that. Anyway, right back at you. This next song is sung by James Taylor. And from his, I think it was one of his first albums, called The Blues Are Just a Bad Dream. Stick with the blues theme for a little bit here. There's a tree outside my window, only grows at night. Branches there all twisted, yeah, the leaves are afraid of light. I said these blues are just a bad dream. You know they live inside my head. Watch it. But when you're lonely in the morning, you're bound to wish that you were dead. My life is a rambling, just like a rolling stone. Since this nightmare came to stay, these thoughts, they don't belong. You know these blues are just a bad dream. You know they live inside my head. But when you're lonely in the morning, you're bound to wish that you were dead. Going down out emotions, blowing where they choose. The wind's got no emotions, no, they never get the blues. I said these blues are just a bad dream. You know they live inside my head. But when it's lonely in the morning, you're bound to wish that you were dead. Blues are just a bad dream. Thank you. And now, sticking with this blues theme, I'm going to do a song I wrote. It's kind of blues, kind of woke up this morning, what did I see? My eyes were getting tired, could that really be me? And just when I think I know what I'm all about, along come this woman and she filled my heart with doubt. And you can dream a dream, and sometimes you know, sometimes it's not what it seems. And everybody, they got their own point of view. And everybody's carrying a picture of you. But tell me, how can someone get cold feet out in the desert, out in 105-degree heat? And you can dream a dream, and sometimes you know, sometimes it's just not what it seems. And I thought by now I'd be further down the line. I thought by now some of these dreams would be mine. And sometimes when you stand tall, you're gonna stand alone. And sometimes I feel like I'm a child without a home. And you can dream a dream, and sometimes you know, sometimes it's not what it seems. Just when I thought I knew what love was about, along come this woman and she filled my heart with doubt. Sometimes it's not what it seems. Okay, now I'm gonna find this. I'm gonna drop my D. That sounds funny, doesn't it? Drop your D. If you know anything about music, it's just a tuning, simple tuning. Normally like this. I'm gonna drop this lower E to a lower D. It's usually easier than this. There you go. So that gives you that sound. I'll turn up the volume a little bit so we get more guitar in this. I wrote this song a while ago. I was in the Museum of Modern Art and I saw this print by Andy Warhol of Marilyn Monroe. There's like a bunch of her all printed up on a big print. And that's what this song is about. Or that's what this song is. Marilyn, beautiful lady on the wall. 1,000 prints by Andy Warhol. Couldn't see the beauty in your eyes, the beauty in your eyes. Marilyn, a novel by Norman Mailer, a handbook for every sailor to take to sea. The beauty in your eyes, the beauty in your eyes. Marilyn, it's another late night movie. You're always there to soothe me. With those eyes, those beautiful blue eyes, the beauty of your eyes. Marilyn, beautiful lady on the wall. 1,000 prints by Andy Warhol. Couldn't see the beauty in your eyes, the beauty in your eyes. Maryland. Okay, we're gonna stay in this tuning. Here's another song I wrote. I gotta figure it out before I play it. I gotta figure it out again. I saw an angel fishing by the sea. I walked up to her and said, "Will you catch me?" She said, "Shh, I got a big fish on the line. Come back tomorrow if you got the time, and now you're free to swim these seas." But I never knew that angels were real. I never knew they could have sex appeal. Her eyes, they sparkle like crystals in the snow. I thought she caught me, but then she let me go, and now I'm free to swim these seas. Well, I know I made a mistake or two. A big mistake was the day that I left you. I heard you're out there on the Baltic Sea. I heard you're fishing for bigger fish than me, and now I'm free to swim these seas. Yeah, I'm free to swim these seas. That's the ocean. In case you didn't know that. Okay, I'm in this tuning. I'm gonna do another song because I like this song. I didn't write this song, but I like it. 24 years ago, came into this life, the son of a woman and a man who lived in strife. He was tired of being poor, and he wasn't into selling door to door. And he worked like the devil to be more. A different kind of poverty now upsets my soul. Night after sleepless night, I walk the floor and I want to know, why am I so alone? Where is my woman? Can I bring her home? Have I driven her away? Is she gone? Morning comes the sunrise and I'm driven from my bed. I see that it is empty, there's this devil in my head as I embrace many-colored beasts. I grow weary of the torment, can there be no peace? And I find myself just wishing that my life would simply cease. Car. Okay. That's it for the detuning. I'm gonna get this back up here to regular tuning. Okay. Well, this is an up song. I don't write too many up songs, but this is an up song. And I'll tell you a little bit about this song. I went to a wedding. I went by myself. Going to a wedding by yourself is not a lot of fun. You're sitting at a table with a lot of people you don't know. And I thought when I got there, I was going to have a miserable time. But at this table was this woman, and she said, "Do you want to dance?" And we just ended up dancing all night long, and we had a lot of fun. It was great. And that's what this song is called, Just Dancing. I'll give you a little bit of a country intro. Well, I don't know what happened the other night. They made you act that way. All I know is I was caught by surprise as we danced the night away. Romance was in the air, music everywhere, and we were just dancing. And I don't know why you let down your hair as you laughed and shook it in your eyes. All I know is I was caught by surprise as we both finally realized that romance was in the the air, music everywhere, and we were just dancing. 1, 2, 3, 4, take your partner on the floor. 5, 6, 7, 8, come on baby, don't hesitate. Just take me out dancing. Now this is the country lead. I'd like to get back to that G. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, I don't have a final verse for this, but I'm going to try to write one right now as we go along. Let's see if we can get it. I need one more verse. Well, if you're ever feeling down and blue and you don't know what you can do, find yourself someone who loves to laugh and ask her to go dancing with you. 'Cause romance is in the air, there's music everywhere, and we are all dancing. Yeah, we are just dancing. Yeah, we are dancing now. Just dancing. That's all we did, and it was really nice. Now this song, I guess I have a list here, but I'm on a country kick here, so I'm gonna do one more. This, and I don't even know the words to this song. This is an older song. I knew this woman, and we used to go out, and she loved the line dance, and so that's what this song's about. And if it, I always say, if it resembles anyone, it's a coincidence. No, this song's about you. Let's see if I can get a country voice. We do that country intro. 3 times usually. Well, my baby listens to that country music, good old boy singing redneck noise. She got herself a big 4-wheeler, got a job as a blackjack dealer. She goes dancing Thursday night, comes home late and starts to fight. I don't know what's going on, my life becomes a country song. Slow it down a little too fast on this. More like this. Well, she got the boots and she got the skirt. She loves to laugh and she loves to flirt. She tells me I'm the only one and drives away in the setting sun. I got it good, I got it bad. That old girl, she drives me mad. I don't know what's going on. My life became a country song. Well, thank you, Willie, thank you, Hank. I got you good old boys to thank. You can't win if you can't lose. I guess by now I'm giving in. A do-si-do, a 2-step there. Dance through life without a care. I don't know what's going on. My life became a country song. Here's that lead. There. Now, here we go. We make up another verse. I got it. Intro. Well, she took my love and she took the truck. She took the dog and she took my luck. She told me I'm the only one and drove away in the setting sun. I got it good, I got it bad. That old girl, she drives me mad. I don't know what's going on. My life became a country song. My life became a country song. That's really, really a rough version, but you get the idea. Let's see here. Here's an abbreviated song. If I can remember it. Okay, yeah, this is really like early stuff, and I'm just going to make this really quick. It's kind of like sophomoric, but I always liked it. You told me you don't understand what your feelings are all about, but I think it's all very clear when I invite all the boys to shout out your name. Oh, Christina, you've been waiting much too long. Whoa, oh, Christina, you've been waiting much too long. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You told me you don't understand why everybody loves you, but I think it's all very clear when I see the things you do in a crowd. Oh, Christina, you've been waiting much too long. Whoa, oh, Christina, you've been waiting much too long. Whoa. And that's the abbreviated version. I think it's going to end up, because we're almost out of time, might go a little bit over. I'll try to end it right here. She was an artist. She painted beautiful skies. She was an artist. She painted Violet's eyes. But when she painted me, who did she see? Maybe someone she hoped I could be. She was an artist. She painted fields so green. She was an artist in the reddest dress I've seen. And in the morning light, when everything is bright, I couldn't help but think this picture was right. But compositions, they can change. Colors can get rearranged. And even though we're friends, even in the end, we couldn't get those colors to blend. She was an artist. She had a beautiful name. She was an artist. She loved to dance within that frame. But when she painted me, who did she see? maybe someone she hoped I would be. She was an artist. I went over 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Okay. Maybe they can edit it down a little bit. And thank you again. Thank you for listening. Be safe out there. Be healthy. Enjoy this. Support the arts. Support your local artists. If you can go out there and buy some local art. If there's musicians online, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about other musicians. If they need some, when they're playing for you and they have the PayPal at the bottom of the screen, if you could support them, that would be wonderful. Again, thank you. And I think we're out of here. And hopefully this works.
Hi, Sam. How are you today?
All right. How are you doing?
I'm good. Such beautiful weather. It looks so nice.
No, yeah. I bring all my stuff outside.
To see your work. So, it's nice that you could join us on this program because I've really gotten to know you over the past few years as you've participated in a lot of our county events, the festival.
Yeah.
And you were painting butterflies last year for our installation. So you're a really community-minded artist. But, how did you start painting in your life? What's been that journey for you?
Well, I've always liked to, even if it was just, like in art class as a kid, and it was never long enough, and it was like, oh, we only have art once a week. Come on, like, that kind of thing. I always felt like, oh, never enough, never enough. I definitely want to at least take a real class in college once I go, even if I major in something else. Then I took a class because we needed one for a core requirement anyway. Took a drawing one, and I'm like, yep, taking another. And then took another, and I'm like, yeah, I'm majoring, So then I did, and then continue with that. And then I realized too, like I wanted to have like a reason to do it when I came home on breaks and everything too. Like, so I was even able to set up a couple First Fridays just like on summer breaks while I was in college and everything. And then I was like, when I came home from school, I was like, okay, no matter what I do, I want to keep doing this. So I kept setting them up, found things like the first, what wasn't the first, but the first for me, the holiday market at the Globe. Or not the Globe. It was at Steamtown that year.
Yeah, yes, that was early on. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got started with that. Started doing commissions. And that year, that fall, I started working at Train Running. And within, I'd say like by like, within 6 months, I guess, because it was February when I started. The owner, my boss Matt, he wanted me to do a mural with like kind of like a map of Scranton on the one wall. So I was like, yeah. So I started doing that. I wasn't sure how I was going to go. I was like, okay, just take my time, work at it when we're not busy. And ended up being something that I really liked and that a lot of other people really liked. And we were able to use it for a lot of stuff. And then that kind of branched me out into, doing prints and posters of not only that, but other pieces. And then even just doing other products with it, end up on the half marathon blanket, the finisher's blanket for the Scranton half marathon one year. I started doing the prints on like candles, partnered with like Note Fragrances and the Posts, who both make candles, partnered with them. And it just became a way to like kind of like it became more than painting. I was able to do other things, and there's always a place to put like an image, and someone always need a poster or a print as a souvenir to send to someone who's away. So it just kind of became a lot broader than just painting, which I liked. But then in the meantime, I've been continuing to paint and doing more murals. That was my first mural. So kind of got me going, just doing a few other ones locally and even out of town. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You never know how life's going to play out in a journey. One thing leads to another. You think it's just a mural, and then from that, because that was one of my questions. I love that you really capture this area. You've done really cool images of Scranton. You've done the bonfire. You've done views of Scranton. So do you find it inspiring to paint this landscape in the city? And
Oh, definitely. I mean, number one, I definitely gravitate towards it because it's what I see all the time. Walking around, taking a picture, not even sure if I'll ever paint that photo. And then weeks later, I'm like, yeah, I still really like that photo. I want to paint it. Sometimes it's as simple as that. Sometimes it's more like, okay, I really want to commemorate a place or an event. and even just like the act of like painting that place and thinking about that day that I was there, so kind of like looking back to it. Again, sometimes it's as simple as like, oh, just really like the way that looks, and I like their architecture, and I know what like other people do too, and it makes sense to work with what's in front of us and what we all connect to here, which is like what we see every day, you know? So
It was nicely said. I like the way it. And I just have to ask you before we switch it over to your talk and your presentation. You're a Renaissance man, and you're also, I don't know if our viewers know this, a really talented runner. So I'm wondering. No, so I'm wondering how the athleticism of running and the art. Do they work together, or does one inform the other?
oh, definitely. I mean, in a lot of ways. One would be just a sense of like committing to a practice. And even like honestly every day thinking like, oh, I don't know if I have the energy, I don't know if I have the energy, I don't know if I can do this, and you just give it a little time and like you find it, you know. So that just like constant active practice to improve, and even just to, even when you're not sure where it's going, just showing up and doing it anyway. Because you know part of you really wants to, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and then also just I know, I mean not always the case, but I know like one kind of sets the scene for another. Like a lot of times I run to clear my head, and I'm better frame of mind to paint. Or vice versa. Sometimes painting clears my head a little bit, so I'm more of a frame of mind to run. Like they just kind of work well with each other. They're actively relaxing, I guess. You know.
Oh, that's a great,
Um,
great phrase. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. Because sometimes it's not, I think, yeah, you need both. Running kind of gets you away, but then sometimes the art gets you away from running. So I think that's pretty cool. Well, with that, let's jump and see you working. And again, thank you for being here. I'll jump back in at the end, but I'm looking forward to get a sneak peek of your process.
I think you. Yeah. Um, should I start with showing what I have? Or?
Yeah, you can. I'm going to put you on speaker view. Okay.
So I have a couple things. I have a blank canvas that I want to start something with today, and then I have another piece here that's about, yeah, that shows well. About a third of the way done. It's going to be of a waterfall from Seven Tubs, actually. I've painted Seven Tubs before, and I was there again a couple weeks ago. And I just really liked the one photo of the waterfall. And then I have another piece that I finished. I might add a little bit more too. I have here. This is brand new. I just kind of finished it, quote unquote, finished this past week. I can even attach a photo of it if that helps. But it's for a friend, Dave, who lives down actually in Adams Avenue in Scranton, and downtown, and it's a gift for him, and it's he just wants something tropical and kind of like jungly, so there's some toucans in there and monkeys and palm trees and everything. So I've been working on that. So I might add a little bit more to it, and I have a blank canvas that still deciding what I'm gonna start on it. I have a couple ideas, so and do something with that too. So yeah. Should I go just kind of set it up, or? Okay.
So maybe while you're setting up, I'll just ask you: do you have a certain place you like to paint? Does this?
Yeah, we're close to it. Normally, I'm in my studio, which is across the yard here. That's like a garage, a carriage house. I usually go upstairs. That's nice, especially at night. It's such a nice day out here. I try to move as much as I can outside. And it's also a little bit warm up there during the day in the summer. So trying to find a way to set up here. Sorry.
It's okay. It's like seeing the artist at work. We get the full perspective.
Yeah. Let's see. Almost. I just need one little thing to prop it up. And then maybe if this setup works, I can just move
Yeah, no, you look.
And how is that? If I hold this up a little bit, would that be good?
Yeah, that's
Um,
good.
maybe I can. Um, I want.
I liked the story you shared about that painting, how the commissions are very individual, and that's why you
Oh,
have.
thank you.
I just said, yeah, your commissions are so individual. So thanks for sharing that story. You paint what
Oh yeah.
speaks to people and what they want. So, all right.
Oh yeah. No problem.
Okay, I'm going to let you take over now.
What's that?
I'm going to let you take over now.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit more to this one. Add a little more detail. It's basically done, but I want to add a little more bright lines and everything. So I'm gonna grab some of my paint, bring it over. And do that.
Sam, I hope you don't mind me asking a question while you're painting.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Your work is so colorful. It's all of it. It just makes you, I don't know, feel very joyful when I look at it. Do you have any? Have there been painters who have inspired you, or where does that come from? Your
Um,
color,
I think it's especially. I mean, definitely with other ones, but especially with this piece, just because it is a tropical.
right?
It's toucans. Um, and also the friend I'm making this for, like I was able to see some other paintings in his apartment and kind of go with like the color scheme. But I do think I still like to go towards brighter things. And that's something.
It wasn't because I know I've seen your other work, but you just always have a lot of layered colors, which I admire in your work.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely like bright colors. I'm definitely a bright color person. Even people who know me will say, "Oh, I'm always wearing bright colored clothes." You know what I mean? Like I don't like plain neutral colored clothes. You'll never see me in like gray or anything. Um, and I think that's partly what I like. Um, I just like bright colors. I think you feel it when you see things, and that's what you're surrounded by. Um, but also too, it does help. I think it helps make contrasts and distinguish like different visual elements in a piece. It definitely helps certain like parts pop. You know, um, yeah. I mean, again, it's partly I guess easier to paint with like a lot of high contrast and bright. But also it's just something I like. I just like brighter colors and um, yeah. That's mostly the reason. Like I think I used to work a lot more muted, um, and that was partly just what I naturally did, and partly to the nature of the paint I was working with. It was a lot more like I still work with oil, but I was always working with oil, and I just like wasn't as great about keeping the colors so distinguished. So things would get a little muddier and a little more muted. Not a bad way, but just that was the way like finished pieces ended up being. Um, and I think that was something I worked against for a while. I just tried to like be able to make higher contrast pieces, and now I'm like somewhere in between, and kind of have both as a choice. Like, oh, I can make something a little more neutral and muted, or I can go bright. So both, I guess.
Thanks. I'll let you get. I know you have a couple things you want to show us, so I'll let you get back to it.
Yeah, yeah. So I think I'll almost done just adding again little small amounts of the yellow magenta to this one. I think they just kind of help a bit. I showed a close up before of it. If it's more noticeable now, not sure, but I think it pops a little bit more. Since this setup seems to be working pretty well, I'm going to bring the other canvas over and then just replace it. But so this one, I said only about a third of the way done. I had a lot more paint on it, and then I decided to add denim and the green cloth and the cardboard and everything and the rope. So that's going to be one of the waterfalls of Seven Tubs. I said I did a painting of there from before a couple years ago. So I've been there a couple times growing up and everything. But I went again with a friend a couple weeks ago. And I just saw another opportunity for a nice photo that I really liked. It was different than the ones before. So it was like it was a really tall waterfall. Sorry.
Okay.
A really tall waterfall. And just the shading on the water made it like an unusual, kind of unnaturally bright blue. So it's something I kind of want to work in, however I can. But in the meantime, I wanted to, accentuate the height and like how vertical the whole composition was between the tree trunks and the tall waterfall, and obviously like the tall board that I'm working on. And then partway through laying down flat paint, I just realized, okay, I want to work in some other material. And I had a lot of cut of denim and cut of cloth, and then the rope laying around. So work those in, and usually what I do is that'll happen. Like I'll lay down the colors, like, oh, it's just going to be a painting. And then once I get the painting going, I'm like, nope, I want to add material. So I go over the paint, and then I try to work in the colors I already had. And then there ends up being a little bit back and forth, like painting more on top of that, and maybe adding a little bit more material if it feels right, and then painting on top of that, and working in both, and exposing some of the material, but mostly painting over it, as if it's like a one non-uniform surface. But if I think the material lends something, like the color of it or the texture of it lends something, then I'll keep some of it exposed. But as long as it's well worked in and it feels right. So see if I can get this to stay put again. Okay. I'm doing right now is just using the yellow and maroon still to work in some warm colors where in spots where I didn't have any yet. Even if it's not like the final, like exactly what that layer is going to look like, I just want to see what some warm elements look like, just to help start kind of making the stone, like the cliffs and the stones, just to kind of get a sense of arrangement for myself, to see where things are going to be more foreground and where they're going to be more background, and where having part of it down where I can make more like some more line work within those shapes stick out a little bit. Plus, I already have the yellow and the maroon like on my palette here, my little rock palette. So it use up the yellow that I already had. So I kind of want to work in some more cool colors too, to set some of it back. So I'm gonna work in some blue on its own, and some blue with the magenta to kind of make some purple that I can kind of use to create some shade within this, and kind of work maybe into the water a little bit too.
We have a couple minutes left here. I was just, you know what I want? I just want to make a comment. I love the denim as the waterfall. It really makes it come alive. Like I think it captures the feeling of a waterfall.
Thank you. Yeah.
Do you decide when to do a mixed media piece? Does it sort of call to you, or do you look at, like you were saying, you just want to add?
It's kind of a push from both directions of like starting a piece, not even knowing if it's going to be mixed media or not, and like kind of laying down the colors. Like I said, sometimes like getting all this work done and then being, no, I'm going over on top of it. Other times it's finding material and then being like, I don't even know what I want to do with this yet, but I know I'm going to want to use it. And then eventually both those ideas come together, kind of. So like I remember like a week ago, I found all this denim. My dad was actually throwing out some jeans and stuff like that. And they're all cut up like, and kind of like conveniently sized pieces. And I'm like, okay, well, I kind of think I'm going to use these. So I'm just going to steal them. And then so I took hold and held on to them because they're just going to get thrown out. And then had them in the studio. I'm like, put them next to the canvases. Whenever you have an idea, use them. And then didn't think of it when I started this. And then I said, like, I just was staring at it. I think it was last night was actually when I decided to put it on. And I'm like, you know what? I think it's gonna work there. But like especially because in the waterfall, like that contrast, like that almost unnatural blue from the photo that I was talking about, it was probably like the actual falling water, like the I guess foamy water is really bright, almost like turquoisey, and then the still water in the background is kind of muted, almost like a denim. But then I as I was laying this down, I realized like the stitching and those hems kind of lends to that, like some of the lines I would see in the waterfall and where that foam was. So I feel like that's somewhere that already sticks out. If I can build it up with some like some brighter blues and stuff. So I don't know. It was just like, again, it's a combination of I have material I like. I'm going to use it eventually, and this piece needs material. So.
Yeah. Well, that's the creative process. Again, I love that you don't know where it's going to take you. I want to thank you for giving us, like I said, a little peek behind the curtain. We often see, the finished art and the display tables, but we don't realize that it's work and discipline, like you mentioned before, with both running and art. You love it, but it still takes your time and talent and blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
I just want to mention before, so you've been really active in the community. You're often at First Fridays, which I know with COVID, we haven't been able to go out, hopefully soon. But where can people find you if they want to see more of your art or, purchase anything? Is there
okay.
a website or
Yeah, so a couple ways. So thankfully, I mean, so I scheduled a June 1st Friday back in the winter with the Giving Tree Wellness Center on Penn Ave. And they had like a soft opening for curbside, and I had gone in there last month and everything. And then they opened this month. And I was in there the one day and I said, like, hey, like I was supposed to do this month. You guys want me to at least put up artwork? It's not like an event. And they're like, sure. So I have a lot of stuff there now. You can go in there during the week if you want to see things in person. I guess it's like the first unofficial First Friday back at it. And then so I always have also my Etsy, which is Samuel Niles, SAMUEL NILES, at Etsy.com. My Instagram is also Samuel Niles. You can always look at my Facebook. I have a Facebook page, Art by Sam Kuchwara. I tend to use my personal one too, a little bit more often. So you can always look at that. And any of those are easy ways to find me. So.
No, that's great. Well, we hope to see you in the real world, but for our viewers, we encourage you to check out his work online and stop in the Giving Tree you can. And hopefully we'll be back to some form of First Friday soon as we get into green phase and beyond. But thanks so much, Sam. It was great chatting with you. It was good to see you working. And again, we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you so much.
Well, another great show, and I hope you've enjoyed it. As I mentioned at the beginning, we've featured over 25 artists since the end of April, and we are going to continue this series on a monthly basis. So we'll have a new application out if you are an artist or visual performing or want to do a lecture on a history or heritage. You can fill that out as long as you haven't participated before, and we'll be running it at least through the end of the year, maybe longer. Always, I give a big shout out to ECTV, who's been a real help on this project. Some of you may have caught my kind of funny early technical glitches, but we finally got it down. Also, Jessica Mione has done a great job. She's our Arts Council member on the marketing of this and will continue to do so. And we want to thank you. The audience is always a large part of making something successful. So we hope to see you back in August when we start up again. And in the meantime, please stay safe, healthy, and creative.